Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Games to the Max. This is episode 227, and I am your host, Sean Garmer, and here with me, as always, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And we are the official video games podcast at WTMnet.com, and of course, partner with Last Word on Life as well. And well, so far since we've done the last show, we have learned a heck of a lot more about what's going to be happening in a few days and a few months, as well as we speak, as you're hearing this, depending on when you're hearing this. So there was already the first official Summer of Gaming, or the Summer Game Fest event, and then there's supposed to be one that apparently Mr. Keeley is really excited about on Wednesday. So we'll talk about all those on the show after this one. Because I'm not, imagine us delaying it and it's like 5 minutes of some game, and then we delayed for that.
I imagine between now and our next episode, Keely will have had 20 more of these things to, premiere.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's certainly getting interesting for June and July, jam-packed already with stuff. But I know you're taking a trip tomorrow, or?
Yeah, I'm just going to Ohio because it's kind of reopening a little, so I want to hit up a Hardee's.
Hit up that Hardee's. Get some of that good.
Well, we don't really have them in my state. We have like one or two, but that's about it.
But it's not close to you?
Not at all, no.
So it's easier for you just to go to Ohio than just go further up in your state?
It's on the way, let's say that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you guys have like more you have like regional fast food, or like.
Yeah, we have Checkers and Rallies and.
We used to have Checkers. We have Checkers up here. We have like White Castle.
See, we don't have that.
Yeah.
And then we have like the Pollo Tropical, which is the like Cuban food place.
Is that Spanish or Taco Bell?
No, it's like you get rice and beans and chicken, and the Latin kind of food.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's some, like, we have a Five Guys here in some places.
Oh yeah, we have Five Guys.
Those California ones that have kind of branched out everywhere now.
Right.
But yeah, most of the one I really miss, I think I've said it before, is Whataburger, which I think is like in Tallahassee. There's one, and that's it.
We used to have one around here, or like by my mom's house, but I think we went out of business.
Of course, everybody will probably still be debating that. What's In-N-Out is better. Right.
Yeah, we don't have that at all.
I would disagree there, but certainly we already mentioned it. A lot of what came out today had to do pretty much with stuff that's coming in the future, and by stuff coming in the future, I mean events. Basically, that's built around what E3 would have been, which leads to more of Mark's theory of will this be a good idea or not when it's all said and done.
I'll go with no.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, because what it feels like to me is all the stuff that would have just been on the show floor that you wouldn't have really.
I don't mind, like, I know Ubisoft, you can talk about them, but like Ubisoft and I think you said Devolver doing their events.
They always do them, though.
That's fine, because there's a precedent for that, but there's like at least one or two more other companies popping up. It's like, you don't have to. We're good.
Well, some folks feel like they do, though. So, first of all, I guess in the further near future, I already mentioned the Summer Game Fest stuff. So, after that, in June, in the few days before E3 would have taken place, the Guerrilla Collective Showcase was announced from the Media Indie Exchange, which Basically, Greg Miller summed it up by saying the Kinda Funny Games Showcase, which he's had the last couple of years, has expanded into a much bigger deal. And so on June 6th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, Greg Miller is going to host the part of IGN Summer of Gaming as well, the first press conference for this, which is going to feature a heck of a lot list of developers and publishers, which they're apparently not done. This is just the first of what they have right now, but there's going to be more because the next day there will be a second online press event. And then the day after that, June 8th, will be like a day of gameplay demos. I guess, where you actually get a lot more gameplay shown and developer interviews and that kind of thing. The things you would see, when they're showing stuff on the show floor that you'd be getting. So, also part of that's going to be the PC Gaming Show, which if we have anything to go by from past years, who cares? Because usually like nothing great comes out of that other than AMD trying to make a big deal out of itself. And Paradox is apparently going to do their own broadcast, Paradox Insider, and a Future Games, which I don't remember what that is supposed to be, the Future Games show. Did they have that last year?
Nope.
I don't really remember that. So here's some of the studios. 11-bit, which are the ones that are most known for Frostpunk, This War Is Mine, Coffee Stain Studios, Funcom, who did the Mutiny Zero, which got some pub last year, Good Shepherd, which most recently did John Wick Hex, Humble Publishing, which did Temtem this year, Larian Studios, which is a studio you like a lot, Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity, Paradox, of course, City Skylines, all that. Raw Fury, who are going to have the Atomic Crop game that comes out at the end of the month. Rebellion, Zombie on V4, which is actually pretty good. What else? Versus Evil, which are the Banner Saga. They also have a little bit to do with Evil Within, if not mistaken. And Eastbird Games, who did the Valhalla games, and of course the ZA guys that did Disco Elysium. There's more in here, but I'm not going to go through every single one, and there's going to be more added as time goes on, probably for that other event the day after. So, what do you think? I mean, is this the kind of thing you feared about?
Yeah,
we're gonna have.
I don't need to have. I mean, first it was a stupid Jeff Keighley one. He's like, we're going to be doing this for 4 months. Strap in, and then now I have like three other groups doing the same thing. Like, no.
Yeah, and I have no idea what GameSpot's doing. Like, you don't hear anything about what they have going on, or just that they have a thing too. And,
yeah. I mean, I assume it'll be some combination giant bomb thing where they interview. I assume they just kind of interview like people, like the people they've always interviewed for E3, like Mary Kish or Adam Boyes or Dave Lang and stuff like that. But I mean, that's fine because they're not. That's like, I don't know about GameSpot, but like the Giant Bomb stuff specifically isn't like, we don't want gameplay. We're not showing gameplay stuff. We're not breaking, new trailers. We just want to talk to people. I don't need like 9 different shows showing like, oh, here's a new trailer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla that has 10 more seconds of new footage. It's still pre-rendered.
Yeah, so apparently, from what I'm looking at here, it's going to be the same sort of thing as IGN's.
Yeah.
Basically, GameSpot's also going to be hosting all that stuff.
Great. Can't wait.
So, basically, it's you choose who you want to get it from. Uh, and then, I mean, it's also going to include the Giant Bomb team.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So, like you said, but yeah, it looks like that's what it is. Is GameSpot's going to use their own people and use Giant Bomb, personalities, while IGN's going to use all of their personalities. And I guess
I don't know. I hadn't kept up on IGN in years. I didn't know if they have personalities anymore.
They do. I mean, they have all their own podcasts and all that stuff. I'm the one that keeps up with that more than you do, so.
I mean, I follow GameSpot more than that, I guess. So.
Yeah, I listen to GameSpot's their After Dark show. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gonna be something else by the time. I certainly can't even dream of. I will say this. What Mark was saying before, it was much easier before because I could just ask off for those 3 or 4 days and go, okay, well, I have those 3 or 4 days to cover everything I want to cover. We do all the press conferences, all that stuff. Now it's almost impossible because when you think that most of the big stuff's going to happen between that same period in June, here comes Ubisoft going, oh yeah, we're doing ours like July 12th.
Yep.
I think, who else was it that said they're doing theirs? Like Xbox is going to do. We don't even know if Xbox is doing something in June. Nintendo's might be later, like July or August now. Everything is going to be very spread out. All these things that would have been happening in that 1 week, and you would have said, okay, we got everybody's stuff. We got to judge everyone at the same time. I think that's one of the things you're going to kind of miss is, yes, it's going to spread out the news more, but I am going to miss, we got what everybody's going to bring to the table, and we get to see it all at the same time.
Yeah, can you imagine what a big cluster, what a big mess Blizzard is going to be this year?
Oh yeah, that's going to be fun. How are they going to do that? Are they still going to do BlizzCon around the same time? Or are they going to, yeah?
I think they will wait, or they'll just have some digital-only event. So, I mean, let's be honest, their past few audience interactions have not been great.
No, they haven't. Especially with Warcraft Reforged not doing great either.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I think everyone kind of assumed that'd be easy to do, but they found a way to fuck it up. So it's like, congrats, I guess.
Yeah, somehow found a way to mess that up.
They both
terribly.
Messed up that game and original Warcraft 3, so it's like you got a twofer, I guess.
And then, it's amazing to me. And now we're hearing going on. Thank you for the segue of Blizzard. They had the stuff with the bad news early in the year at the end of January with Warcraft 3 Reforged, and then at the end of Q4 2020, we're gonna possibly have Diablo 2 remastered.
Yep. I never played that game. I don't know about you, but I
did. I enjoyed it.
The only things I remember about like early Diablo 1 and 2 is like they were really dark.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that because I like to be able to see where I'm going.
I played Diablo 1 on an emulator for the PS1 version.
I actually had that.
Yeah.
I played that for real. I had that version, which sucked.
Yeah, I didn't find out till later that it was a sucky version.
Well, it was fun. The controls barely worked, but the fun part was like the average PS1 memory card was 15 blocks. And this game took up 5 blocks to save. And it's like,
yeah. So
what?
You pretty much had to have your own memory card for Diablo.
Yeah, there were only a handful of games. I mean, most games were like one save equals 1 block, but there were like a handful of games that were like 5 blocks, or like I think there was a game called D that took up like the whole damn memory card. It's like, what? Like, what is
Star
crap?
Fox like that for the Wii U or remember. I don't know. There's some game.
Maybe
I can't remember. But no, that's actually what made me go and get the Diablo 2. I got all those Blizzard games.
Yeah.
From like those
Battle chest.
Those battle chests from Walmart for $20 each. I still had them actually.
So do I. They're in a drawer somewhere. I got Diablo, and I think I got Warcraft 3.
Yeah, I have Warcraft 3, StarCraft, and Diablo 2.
Yeah.
And so I played Diablo 2 for a while, like that. And yeah, I mean, I could see what people really enjoyed about it. It's just, it was when Diablo finally became, what people love about it. And
right.
I can understand, I can get why but it's funny to see you're doing this remaster for Diablo 2 and you're also making Diablo 4 at the same time.
Hey man, don't forget about Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, Diablo Immortal.
They did. I don't think that game will ever be released in North America, or like not in China, essentially.
I think it will. They just won't really announce.
Yeah, it'll just be like, oh, Diablo Immortal's out. It's like no fanfare whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it's that game we don't want to know existed. If you're a Blizzard fan, now if you're an Activision person, maybe you do because they want to make money off that thing.
Yeah, it's depressing because Blizzard used to be slow, but they used to release new games. Like the last new game they released was Overwatch.
Overwatch, yeah. And then
Heroes of the Storm, which was a copy, of a mod.
Well, I mean everything was Hearthstone as well. That was a card game basically.
Yeah, but that's not directly they have their own mechanics for that thing at least.
Yeah.
Or it's not directly like a Magic the Gathering, clone.
Right. Yeah, and they're also making Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
At this point as well, and World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which let's see how that's going. So getting back to this Diablo 2 remaster, apparently Vicarious Visions, since I guess they don't have WWE 2K to work on, they're helping Blizzard with the project. And so, Vicarious Visions has kind of been doing that for a while. They helped on all the Crash Bandicoot games.
Expect to see John Cena in Diablo 2.
Can you imagine? That'd be kind of actually... He's a hidden boss you didn't know existed.
He's a character class. He just runs up and F5s or FUs everything.
Yep. And you do his 5 moves of doom.
Yeah. He comes out, one of his special moves is rapping. He's like the bard character.
That would be awesome.
Vicarious Visions, they don't make new games, but they are pretty competent port studio. So sure.
Yeah, I think this is if don't know how that's going with the NBA games and all that. I'm sure they can't really work on that game right now because of the not having the season, not having the players.
You mean the NBA street game, what, the little cartoony thing, or?
No. They also work on the NBA 2K proper.
No, they don't. That's not Activision. That's 2K.
No, I'm talking about. Oh, never mind. I'm getting visual concept of Vicarious Visions. You can tell what time it is.
Yeah.
So I'm getting both of those mixed up. But yeah, it's cool that they're adding some help for Blizzard on this. It screams more of this is Activision trying to make sure it gets out faster.
Or it screams that this is Activision trying to hope it gets out competently.
Yeah, maybe, but I wonder if the Warcraft 3 Reforged was them feeling like they had to rush it out because Activision might have been like, hey.
I think they pretty much directly said that.
Yeah, so maybe they don't want to catch flack for, okay, we're going to let Blizzard do their thing, but we're also going to rush them. Well, how about we have one of our own studios involved so we can kind of keep a closer eye on what's going on. But now I assume things are a little bit harder with everybody having to work from home and everything. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes as things keep opening up. Even seeing that there are now new cases in China isn't, of course, that's mostly Russia's fault apparently, but still, that's not great news. Either way, yeah, so we possibly might have that to look forward to at the end of 2020 there, if things keep going smoothly, which the way things are going, I kind of fully expect that to get delayed into 2021.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that just comes out.
I mean, I expect most games, aside from like games coming out this month, to be delayed till pretty late. I mean, I know like whatever Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 are pretty much done.
Yeah.
But that I got a feeling that's about it.
Yeah, well, we don't know, right? Like, as far as we know, everything's going okay with Cyberpunk so far.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last big game, but that's also like why Nintendo kind of had to delay their stuff because of the COVID, and even though most of that apparently was supposed to be Mario focused due to the 35th anniversary event that we talked about before.
Right.
Still, those are games that they were banking on for this year to kind of fill that void, and we'll see how that gets affected as well. We still don't know if push comes to shove, if this gets worse again, if they will have to delay the PS5 and Xbox Series X because they can't get enough systems out there to make it worth it for them to just release them.
Yeah, well, I mean, people, if you just release a system with no new games, that's going to be a huge issue.
Yeah, I think definitely if something happens and they have to delay Halo, I think Microsoft is going to delay the system. I don't think you can release without that.
Yeah.
You're making that too much of they kind of go together at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's the game that you're looking forward to. The reason why you're buying the Series X at launch is for that game. Even though you don't need to, it's on Xbox One. But
I mean, is it weird they released 4 Halo games for the 360 and basically 1 for the Xbox One? Or like 1.5?
Well, they were working on Master Chief Collection. Remember that?
That's what I meant by half.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's technically 4 whatever games, but I mean, I think launch busted, and it took a while for them to get it to work correctly. And also, like, comparatively, I wouldn't think it'd be that much. I would think it would be harder to make a new game than it is to remaster 4 old ones.
Well, I think also because of how bad the reception was to 5.
Yeah.
At least in the single player aspect.
Right.
It's just, I think they wanted to really take the time to, okay, let's go back to the drawing board and figure out what made these games great. I mean, what can we take from 4 that people still enjoyed a lot more, and kind of go from there, and how do we not mess up the story again? Like,
yeah.
They just tried to do, like, 5 also was hampered a lot by the fact that it really felt like they were trying to get rid of Master Chief with Locke and everything else.
Yeah,
and
no one cares about him.
People revolted and were like, we don't like this. And it's almost like I think Toriyama said that he wanted to make Gohan the focus of Dragon Ball Z going forward, but everybody wanted Goku.
That Kakarot game is very indicative of that, because like Goku's dead for most of that game, and you're playing as Gohan for at least like 60% of it. And it's like,
well, most of the series, how many times does Goku die? Like
3,
least,
I can think of.
Yeah, I think even more than that. But it's like, it's how much of that series is him trying to push Gohan in the limelight, and then when people revolted and said they wanted Goku to stay there, then they had to deal with it, So, I think that's the thing too, is just
I mean,
I
people
guess.
get at least like Assassin's Creed was able to pivot from. I mean, Ezio is a hugely popular character, but I mean that whole franchise lends itself to every
Just having
game.
different assassins, yeah.
Yeah, every game or every few games they have a new character or a new setting and a new character because it's literally hundreds of years between games or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is going to be all interesting as we continue to go forward in this world that we're now, this new normal that we're now in.
I think Halo 2 is hitting PC this week.
Yeah, actually hit today.
I want them to drop the prices, I think, because I don't buy it. If it gets down like $20, I'll grab it, but I don't want to pay $40 for it.
Well, I mean, you're paying $10 for a game.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're talking about.
But I don't like at least half of those games in that thing.
I'm a big fan of all those, so it was well worth it for me. But
I don't like. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Halo 2, honestly. And
Halo 2 was cool because you got to have both perspectives.
Yeah, but the one I really don't like is ODST.
But that's not what you were really. The ODST was free as a make good for. For
Master
it
Chief
being
Collection.
bad.
Yeah,
for Master Chief Collection coming up borked. So we were really paying $10 for 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what you were paying.
And Reach. Reach is like the one good one, or the one I'll.
Well, Reach was just now when the original collection came out. Reach wasn't included, which made me upset because Reach was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I was like, why wouldn't you just do all the Bungie games together instead of
piecemeal?
Having that one just be by itself over there until just now,
Yeah.
But yeah, so and speaking of things being delayed, Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer was supposed to come out today, and they just announced the day before that it's been delayed.
Yep.
On both Switch and PS4. The work from home requirements were reason for the delay, apparently. And apparently it's now. Well, it's been delayed for a couple of weeks, apparently, till May 26th. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that might come out later as well, or it's 2 weeks from now. But
yeah, I was excited. I mean, I think that kind of hurts them too, because then you're right smack in the middle of Xenoblade comes out, and some other games come out at the end of the month. And now you're having to make some decisions about, the 12th was kind of far enough away where you could go, okay, I'll buy this game, and then I can buy some other games later. But yeah, I don't think it's going to help.
Well, Star Wars is going to be a lot cheaper than Xenoblade for and also Sonic has a huge glut of racing games in the Switch.
That's true.
Or anywhere else for that matter at the moment.
Well, I think that honestly, it has to be good first, right? Let's see if the port's good, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But having that Star Wars name on it, who knows? A lot of people might just grab it as soon as it comes out and not even think about it.
And then bitch about where the Mandalorian's in it. Why he's not in it.
Well, yeah, why is he not in it? I don't know, because it's set in the 4 then, but okay.
The game came out 20 years ago.
Sure. Yeah, the game came out a long time ago. Well, going back to that Ubisoft event, I guess for a little bit, is we know they're going to show Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We know that's kind of the big deal for that show. That I'd imagine that's when you're going to get most of the gameplay and everything else.
It'll still be all pre-rendered video footage.
I hope not by then. Do you think we're finally going to figure out what happened to Watch Dogs Legion on that show?
Maybe not. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to that game. It was supposed to be out last year.
Yeah, because they went ahead and delayed Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Watch Dogs Legion all at once. So,
remember that Ship and Bones game, or that their multiplayer?
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. That thing just died a death, and you never heard about it again.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, other companies, they announce stuff and it may not come out, but like, it seems like Ubisoft does it a lot more than
Yeah,
like
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
or
It's just
Wild, the other game they were making, where
yeah,
it was him crazy like taking over animals thing.
they had the thing where I think like some new screenshots showed up like a month ago or whatever, and people started speculating.
It was like some job opening, and it's like,
yeah,
what?
Watch them just show off a bunch of stuff for it now at this show, and be like, "Oh, this has been there. You just forgot about it." Okay.
Yeah. Only now it's somehow a Far Cry game.
I hope not. Let Far Cry have a rest.
Yeah, they pumped out too many of those in too fast a pace.
Like let New Dawn be the last one for a bit, and then let it breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were talking about bringing Vaughn back for Far Cry, whatever it is going to be.
Nope.
But well, I mean, the voice actor I think said something to the effect of that he might.
Do you mean Voss?
Voss, sorry.
Yeah.
Voss.
Like,
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And not the Final Fantasy 12 character.
The guy from Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Is the voice actor I think had hinted at.
I mean,
possibly
that character got kind of bitched out in that Far Cry 3, so they could, but I don't really want to play it. Like,
yeah.
The only fun thing that to me would be remember Far Cry Primal, the caveman one. Mm-hmm. If they transplanted the caveman guy in a modern time.
I mean, they could in Wild maybe. Like just put him as an extra character you can use.
Yeah.
Let's bring him on. I mean, so they're calling it Ubisoft Forward, this event as well, which.
How many dance numbers do you think are going to be at this thing?
There's always at least one.
Yeah.
So, I'll go with one. I'm trying to think of. You think there's any surprises like a Splinter Cell or something that we're not expecting?
Yeah, people want it, but apparently they don't give a fuck what people want. Like, people want a Splinter Cell, or, I mean, they showed up. People finally discovered, like, some old Prince of Persia prototype from, like, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, when was the last time they were Prince of Persia? I think it was, like, last generation.
Yep, last generation.
Or that watercolor.
PS2, GameCube.
No, they made a 361, the watercolor one. But like, that was like the one you couldn't die in, so it was like really weird.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Ubisoft has a lot of franchises, they just don't really take advantage of them that much. Compared to
they certainly go with the ones that are making them money and then kind of milk them until.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they are as bad as like an Activision who bleeds it. At least Ubisoft put the brakes on Assassin's Creed for a year. I give them credit for that. But
right, and hopefully they're doing the same with Far Cry. But
yeah, and bring back Splinter Cell or bring back Rainbow Six as like a single player co-op game. Like,
I don't think so. With them doing Quarantine, I think that's kind of where they're headed with that. I mean, you still got that Gods and Monsters game too. So
I remember For Honor.
They're still doing For Honor stuff. I mean, it's kind of like Rainbow Six. It's just out there for people that like to play it, and it's in the ether. And people don't talk about it. I mean, The Division, I'm sure, is still getting another expansion or whatever.
The COVID expansion.
I mean, if you think you shouldn't play that now, imagine.
If you have to deliver these masks to these refugees in this building.
The pandemic edition.
If you have to guard the Walmart from looters.
You have to safeguard these lines from people not social distancing. Let's see.
Yeah. Anytime you get between, 1 and 5 feet of the other team member, you start to lose health.
Yeah, like if you got poisoned.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't mind Ubisoft doing an event because, like I
Yeah.
said, they always do an E3 event, so it's fine. But I'll
Like,
watch
but
it.
I'm glad Bethesda is not just making an event happen just to make it happen. They have like nothing right now.
I'm
I
sure they
mean,
could gin up another Andrew WK performance somewhere.
because Pete Hines just came out. I mean, somebody for some reason was asking about Elder Scrolls, and he said, "Well, for one, Starfield is way above Elder Scrolls at this point,
Yeah,
and aside from Starfield and Elder Scrolls, they have nothing. Doom Eternal already came out. I mean, Wolfenstein is if they're making something that's just starting because didn't they kind of end everything with Youngblood, and
yeah.
then
Well, they got
what
that.
else?
I know. Well, they just put out like I think a month ago, within a few weeks, that Fallout 76 thing that
Yeah, Fallout
it's still not
76.
good. Like I think it's called like the Wastelanders like patch or update or something, and it's like I mean now it turned it from a solitary bad Fallout game to like a very mediocre Fallout game, and it's like I guess
Yeah,
it's some upward momentum, but no, like I think people
and
would rather play Fallout. Like I think people would rather play like an upgraded Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. Like if they got that working on current consoles and like made it look good, people would be way more into that.
yeah. I mean, and then like what else do they have?
They'll bring back Rage 3, since Rage 2 didn't. I think Rage 2 kind of tanked.
Yeah, Rage 2 tanked. Nobody talked about that freaking game. I mean, it came out and then it's like, okay,
They'll
there's
make
that
another.
game.
They'll make Wet 2 and the Dick Marcinko game. You know, whatever the hell that was called, Rogue Warrior 2.
Oh well, they got Ghostwire Tokyo, which they're promising stuff on later,
Yeah,
and also Deathloop.
but
Deathloop looked cool.
but that Ghostwire game, the main girl left, so no one cares about it anymore. they were more into her than that game.
Yeah, I'm still excited about it though, and I mean, yeah, Deathloop was probably one of the games that I was most intrigued by last year at E3. So
Is that the one that is like an isometric or top down? Like you're in it's like the time loop apartment game, or is that something else?
I think so. Yes, that's what that was.
Okay, that I think they've been working on that thing for like years. And that thing was supposed to be like a Xbox 360 game at some point.
Let me see.
No, it's something. No, I'm thinking of something else.
No, Deathloop is the that like first person
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I'm thinking 12 minutes.
Where they have the guy and the girl,
Yeah.
and they're that was freaking awesome last year.
Yeah, I was thinking of 12
Uh,
minutes. That's been in development for years.
that's that Arcane, the new Arcane game.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, and who knows Square if they're gonna do one or not, because I guess I don't even know how far they are on, depending on what you read, how far they are on Remake Part 2 to be able to show that. I mean, I guess they could show more Avengers and Iron Man, but
that'd be great. Worked so well last year. Especially that Avengers game. Everyone was talking about how great that was.
And all the DLC for Ultimate Alliance is done, so
I mean, they could always make more, because that's probably
right.
pretty easy and hopefully cheap to make, or people are buying it.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'd be doing another Tomb Raider or something with Crystal Dynamics being busy. So.
Yeah, speaking of Square, I bought that big Square pack they released.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, mine was like $17. Which
yeah, at least you got to help charity.
Yeah, and I got like 25 games I was missing or whatever. So now I own all the old like Tomb Raider games and Deus Ex, and say, woo! Can't wait. And Pandemonium.
Well, you know who's also doing a showcase at some point in the middle of the Summer Games Fest is Steam. Steam is also doing kind of their own showcase thing.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to someone who's very prominent in leaking things for Steam, he apparently leaked Yakuza Like a Dragon, which, I mean, wasn't so far-fetched that was going to be coming to PC with all the other games being on PC at this point, but... Or, well, most of them anyway. And that Steam is going to have some kind of a loyalty rewards program, which actually will reward you with game discounts. You know,
if you have over 1,000 games, you can get the Half-Life 3 beta.
What? Yeah, that'll people keep doing it for years just to see if they can get that. So yeah, you can. Apparently, the loyalty reward system would feature accruable points that can be redeemed for badge levels and will allow reactions to user reviews. So let's make the user reviews even more toxic by having people fight over somebody's user review, because that's what we need. A whole big comment section of user reviews too.
I mean, they're already pretty pointless on Steam, so...
There's people that, use them. So, apparently you can do reactions to deep thoughts, heartwarming, hilarious, hot take. This is the way you can comment on... I don't know. It seems silly, but, I mean, you that use Steam a lot and, do the stuff with the cards and all that kind of stuff, would you want a loyalty rewards?
I think it might be interesting. I mean, they've basically done stuff like that for holiday stuff before. Play these bad Flash games, and you earn points, and then you can buy prizes with it, that correspond to the holiday stuff. Usually around Christmas, that's the big one. I think it's weird. You think they should have done this years ago when they introduced badge levels and stuff like this in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. You'd think they would have, but...
I mean, I guess it all depends also, how good would the program be? Or, what would it count? I have, I think, over 2,000 games on Steam. Or at current rate, 2,275. How does that rate against other people? It's not much. I mean, So I have friends on Steam who have 10,000 games. It's you're crazy.
I'm sure they haven't even played about 8,000 of them.
I haven't even. I mean, I have 2,200. I haven't played 2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I just bought this that stupid Square thing. How much of that crappy thing I'm going to play?
Yeah, probably not much. Or a lot of it you already have. So.
Well, I was it was funny when it popped up. It was you can install these 17 games, and it's it requires 275 gigabytes. I got 150 free. I can't. I don't have the hard drive space to install most of the games I'd actually like to play. I mean, if the discounts are good, it'd be really nice. Or if you trade in X amount of points, get a free game or something. I think they won't do that, but it'd be nice. But yeah, I think it's a weird half bandage, or because Epic's giving away games, every week, and Steam is now a little kind of, but they're really crappy games. I mean, it's not Epic, they aren't the top tier games in Epic, but some of them are pretty good. I mean, for what they are, but compared to Steam's paltry, hey, here's a free game for a day or two. It's great. I finally got Flora's Fruit Farm.
Well, no, sometimes they do have those, where you play for a weekend thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Steam always does free weekends or a free week. It's that's not quite the same.
Yeah, Microsoft does that a lot too. The play days, or.
I mean, honestly, the bigger problem is I found Steam over the past year to 2 years to be kind of a hunk of shit. They did an update I think a few years ago that completely changed the UI, and it's terrible. It's incredibly slow.
Oh
Uh,
God, yes. Oh God,
very like
yes, it is.
very laggy, and like it updates. It wants to update like constantly, like every
Yep.
2 or 3 days. It's
Every
like
time I turn that thing on, it's doing update. Oh, we gotta check for the update.
yeah, and it's like
Okay.
stuff like, oh, we fixed the HTML in this one store page or something like that. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, you guys used to be stable and fast, and you had a grid system that was like functional. Like, they're like how you see stuff is like insane on Steam now, and all their like you know oh,
How
what
it
is it like?
suggests to you things,
Yeah,
it's,
all their like suggestions or
they
oh, I
always
forget.
seem off. Or,
Yeah, like the curators. It's like
mm-hmm.
I don't want to follow people on Steam to find out what they're suggesting to play. It's like, just offer me a list of things. Just offer me.
That's really from the Epic thing too, because of the Epic giving the streamers a chunk or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
but Steam doesn't do that. But
yeah.
Steam did it first. I know that because they did that like years ago. But it's like, no, I don't care. Like, just make it quick and functional, not bloated and slow like it has been over the past 2 years.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
I had a friend trying to play Destiny 2 on Steam, and she basically gave up after an hour because like she just couldn't get it to work correctly. And it wasn't like the game, like her computer was fine. It was just Steam being slow and not downloading the file correctly. That's an issue.
Yep. Yeah, it certainly can be. I agree with that.
So I'd rather Steam fix their game or their program UI rather than instituting buy 5 games get one free reward program or something.
So I just wanted to highlight this one game that I happened to see when I was looking at Kotaku today or yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a a very Pokemon inspired game called Cassette Beasts that you basically merge two Pokemon looking things, and you like can it's almost like you're like the Power Ranger Pokemon, like you turn into them instead of catching these beasts or whatever, and then you can merge two of them into a bigger one, I guess, instead of evolving. And it has like that kind of like 16-bit art style, sort of. Yeah, if you watch the trailer, it's.
I mean, once again, you really need to play Jade Cocoon because they do a lot of that stuff too.
No, I just think it's kind of neat. Like they finally did something that's a little bit different than like Temtem. That's basically Pokemon, but with a different name on it. Where this actually kind of takes that and like, hey, you're going to use cassettes
Well,
from the 80s.
now every player is going to become Soundwave from Transformers.
I love it. It's cool. Like it's just, I thought it was kind of. It still has like the cute look from Pokemon and all that stuff, but it's like it has a different spin on it. That's pretty neat. So
Yeah.
props to this indie studio here called Bitten Studio, BY TTEN for doing that. That's pretty neat.
Sure.
So one little we do have a special topic here talking about our first, like how we got into gaming, what made us get into that, and then just like our first memories and first systems, all those kind of things. I don't know how big you are into this. I love American Horror Story. I'm a little bit behind because I think the last one I watched was the thing where they get put underground. I don't know what season that is. I think it was like maybe 8 or something. I kind of fell off there. I know I do want to watch the 1984 one from last year. But so Ryan Murphy had a big Zoom thing with almost a lot of the characters or a lot of the actors and actresses that are in most of the American Horror Story shows. And he announced that there's now a spin-off called American Horror Stories, which are like self-contained episodes. So I'm glad that this just keeps going on for FX.
Well, it'll be like The Walking Dead. It'll never die.
Yeah, I mean it's already got renewed for 4 seasons, and yeah, I mean Disney kind of helped, I guess, greenlight this too. I mean, I will say I've really enjoyed the whole all the FX stuff being on Hulu now, so I can check out things that I kind of forgot about.
Like Sons of Anarchy.
No, I watched all of that. Like I've been watching Snowfall. I watched all of the Mrs. America one. That's like about feminism and the
Phyllis Schlafly and
yeah, that. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, so I've been enjoying that, and yeah, good for Ryan Murphy to keep going in these times. So yeah, let's get into this our special topic here. So what was your was it at somebody that got you into gaming, or was it just something you saw? Like what was
I
that
remember
for you?
I was on like a school field trip in like kindergarten, and like a kid had a Game Boy, and I think he might have had either Tetris, like the first Mario, and I remember playing that. And then like later on, my mom bought me my first Game Boy. She was weird. Like she bought me a Game Boy, but she never bought me a Nintendo. She didn't want anything hooked up to the TV. I think she thought it would like destroy the TV or something. And then like I would go to like stores, and like play the demo kiosk there quite a bit. Like I remember that very vividly. Like Kmart, when Kmart used to be good back in the day. Speaking of Kmart, I mean there's like 2 left in Michigan, and I drove by one that was like just closed down like 3 months ago. And I was like, what? Like it was still the sign. It was like still lit up. I'm like, what happened?
Did they reopen it because people need to?
No, it was closed, but like it just closed down like in like February or something. I was like,
oh really?
I don't know,
Wow.
Kmart still exists. You know, I thought they all closed or something.
Yeah, I know we still have some here. But...
I guess like in like the town next to me was the original Kmart, and they just bulldozed it like last year.
Oh wow!
It was like the first Kmart. I mean, but yeah, I remember playing like demo kiosk, or I remember Funkoland quite a bit back in the day.
Yeah.
I had one friend named Mikey who had like a NES in his room, and I'd go over there like sleep over and play like Mario Brothers. And then I switched parents, switched my mom to my dad, and like the first thing he did was like buy me a Super Nintendo.
Nice.
I never really had a NES. Like I've played I've played Zelda to completion, and I've played like the bigger like NES games like Mega Man or Mario, but I don't have a ton of nostalgia for that system personally.
Yeah, I'm similar in that vein. Okay, so my brother is the reason that I play games to this day. He actually has his own Twitch and everything. He's it's called DE or DI. It's weird ass. He always liked it ties it into like, so he was always into like I guess Norse mythology and all this stuff, like all his. I remember him when he would play RPGs. He would always, his character would always be Loki.
Yeah.
Or something in that vein, like Odin or whatever. I didn't know what the hell that was.
Right.
But,
he just found a book when he found a book when he was a kid and got obsessed with it.
Probably. But you know, so I remember like watching him play Mario, and you know, I remember like just kind of watching him play things. I don't remember actually playing myself, quite honestly. I think I remember, like, and I did have a friend who we were like really close. He had a Nintendo in his house, and he had like both the Zeldas and Mario and a bunch of other, Gauntlet, and he had a bunch of games. So I could go over there and play some of those. But like you, I didn't ever own that system myself. So anything that I played from the NES is either, ported from, like Super Mario All-Stars. That was my introduction really to Mario 3, Mario 2, all that.
Yeah.
Like all those kind of Nintendo franchises, it was the Super Nintendo. Like Super Nintendo was my first system. Like my dad, he bought that for me. I remember I came home one day and it was just there with Super Mario World already in the thing, ready for me to play. And then I just got obsessed with that game because that was like the only game I had for a long time, aside from like sports games. Like I had Madden and Cal Ripken Junior Baseball and all that stuff. And then my mom, I had a separate Nintendo my dad eventually bought me because he didn't want me to keep bringing it back and forth. So, I could take the games back and forth, but he wanted me to keep the two Super Nintendo separate. So eventually, like I got Kirby Superstar and like more sports game, like the NBA Jams and all that kind of stuff. And then my aunt, who was in some kind of weird cult at the time that was like super Christian, and I couldn't have anything that had magic in it, so I had to throw away almost all of my Super Nintendo games, and I never got them back. Or
is she out? Is she out of the cult now? I assume.
Yes, she is much more normal.
You should you should charge her for all that crap.
I wish my dad wanted to charge her so bad. So, like it was funny because like my dad wanted to go after her so bad for doing that, but he's like, what can you do? My brother is DIEEC 23. And his game that he streams is Crowfall on Twitch. So if you
never even heard of that.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was either until I watched him one day and I was like, "What the hell is this?" All right, whatever. So yeah,
like it was funny when I got a SNES. Like I think I got Mario World with it. Mm-hmm. But the only other two games I can really remember were Mario RPG and Super Star Wars. I think I had like one or two of those. Like I think I might have had like Super Star Wars and like maybe like Jedi or Empire. Mm-hmm. And I remember those games sucked ass because they're like way too hard.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That's why, like,
I had a friend that had that.
When those games came out, I think like Super Star Wars came out on PS4. Like they did like a slight like HD version or something.
Yeah,
like, those games sucked back then. Like they're gonna suck now.
It was like 3 games, right, that they did all together, and that was one of them.
Yeah, well they did. Yeah, well they did 3. They did all 3 on the Super Nintendo, but they only brought like Super Star Wars to the PS4. And it's like, okay, that's a little odd because that's like the worst one, but okay. Because like 2 Empire and Return of the Jedi, you could play as like Han and Chewbacca and Princess Leia. So it's like in Star Wars you just play as Luke, and he doesn't even have a lightsaber for half that game.
Yeah, but, it's.
Yeah, my mom would like buy me handheld systems, but she never wanted to buy me anything to hook up to the TV. Like, I remember I had a Game Boy, and I eventually got a Game Gear, and I went to like 4 or 5 Game Boys as a kid because I was just like rough on them, or like they would just break.
Yeah, I had the Game Boy. I had no interest in at all until Pokemon, and then that basically. Yeah,
I was actually kind of the opposite. Like when Pokemon came out, I was pretty much done with the Game Boy. I mean, I had like Tetris and like Mario and Kirby and like a few other Game Boy games. But like when Pokemon came out, that was like '96. Mm-hmm. That was fairly late in the Game Boy's life cycle. So I was like, I'm No, I'm good.
Yeah, I never had. I never had the original Game Boy, the big Game Boy. I had the Pocket. That was my first one.
Yeah.
And with Pokemon, and that was pretty much like the only two games I owned for that thing for a while. Until the Color, and then that's when I kind of started buying other Game Boy games. But then I became like a like 3D, with the GBA is when I really started like, oh man, this is a awesome thing to have a game you can take to school with you, a game you can take to places with you. I end up liking a lot. But yeah, it's for me, Super Mario World was that game that like hooked me. I think that like made me.
Right.
I have memories of just spending hours and hours with that game. My sister also played with me, so I think that helped a lot too. And then of course, went on and played other things, but like, so Mario was like that first. Not like it was for a lot of people. That I was never a Zelda person. I can't even remember the first. I mean, I played like Zelda 2 and 1, but it wasn't mine, right? So I just had to go over to a friend's house and play when I could. So I never had the attachment to it. Like,
yeah,
man.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, I played it at my friend's house. That wasn't until like, years later, like an emulator, I played like Zelda all the way through,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I have specific memories of Zelda, but they're all kind of fucked up because I never played them. I didn't play that game like correctly. Like, I still don't really know where like level 1 is in Zelda, or like the first
Yeah,
dungeon.
because you could literally go anywhere and you don't necessarily know where you're going
Yeah,
until you learn how where you're supposed to go in that game.
right. Like I remember like where like I think it's like dungeon 2 or 3 because that's like really easy to find,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about it.
Yeah, it's. I remember the first when I played that game and I got to the guy that gives you the first items or whatever. I was kind of like, oh wow, I found something this game finally.
Yeah, it's like neat.
um, yeah, I think like Kirby and Mario were like my franchises. I think for Nintendo for like a long time. I didn't.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a really funny memory about Kirby because this was when I was like a little kid. I was like 6 or 7, I think. My grandfather, we had that big auto show in Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and like his company, he like worked for, he was like a foreman in this construction company, and they were like build all the stages for the cars, like build like basically transform the expo center into like the the auto show. So I remember one time he took me there before it was open. This was like a week before it was open, so it was like 3/4 of the way built. There were a bunch of cars on the floor and everything. And he drove me around in a golf cart showing me all these cars, and all I was doing was like playing Kirby on a Game Boy. So I don't care about these cars. Leave me alone. I want to play this.
Hey, and those were the Kirby games on the Game Boy were actually not pretty
well,
good. Oh,
the
well, the
first was
first one
pretty.
wasn't.
Well, the first was just simple. Like it didn't have what Kirby developed into, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still a fun platformer. Or it was fine.
Yeah,
But
2 is when he had he got the animals and stuff, and he kind of
and
expanded a little bit.
well, 2 is when he got the animals, and then he could copy powers.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't even in Kirby 1. All he could do was like suck up enemies and blow them out.
Right. Oh, that's
But
right. Yeah, he couldn't get power. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Forgot about that.
I think
Um,
I think they made Kirby 1 for the Game Boy, and then made a Kirby NES game, which is really good,
right. Yeah.
where he just got copy power, and then Kirby 2 for the Game Boy is when he got the animals, and like when that's when we're like really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's when I absolutely just like loved Korea. Another game that I think this is why I like beat 'em ups a lot too. Is me and my sister and I played Turtles in Time
Oh yeah,
over and over and over and over. Like I would stay up to like 3 or 4 in the morning playing that game. I don't know how many times I'd beat it, but I wanted to beat it with every single turtle, and I wanted to. Yeah, it was. Uh, I wanted to try to beat it without dying. Like, it's funny that I never got like that again about games, really. That weren't like sports games, but like that game, I just wanted to beat a bunch of times.
Right. I remember as a kid going to like arcades.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, we had there was a Chuck E. Cheese around here, but we had a Aladdin's Castle. That was like a mall chain arcade place.
Yeah.
And then we had like an actual just arcade that was like pretty cool by me.
I went to Cece's Pizza a lot and played Simpsons.
Yeah.
In Area 51.
Oh yeah. That's always fun.
I would eat 2 pieces of pizza and then I'd be like, "Hey, can I have some quarters?" And then I'd be over there.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Well, it's funny. I went to an arcade last year. That was just everything. You just had to pay to get in, and everything was set to free play. And I played through the Simpsons arcade machine because I had infinite money.
Yeah.
And it took me about an hour, and about a half hour into it, I'm like thinking like, this is boring as shit. like who cares? I'm just pressing start over and over, and I'm playing as I think like Bart, and it's just like that's why I don't like beat 'em ups. I don't think it's just very. I think it's boring, but also just very samey or repetitive.
Right.
It's like, yeah, especially those old arcade games like Streets of Rage 4.
I think those games are really like were meant to have everybody. Each one of you is a Simpson, right? And like you're all there, and you're like trying to give quarters to all your friends so they can all play, and like it's like.
Or it's like or the thing was just designed to suck money too because it's inherently very cheap.
Right. Yeah, like I liked playing the X-Men.
Yeah, the 3 big ones were X-Men, Simpsons, and Turtles.
Yeah, Turtles. Then try to play those NES ones, and those were, ugh.
The Turtles one was
that first NES one was just.
Well, the Turtles.
Evil.
Yeah, and then they made a Turtles arcade game, like a port of the for NES, and it was okay. Like it didn't look as good, but. And then they redid it eventually as well. But yeah, I never played older stuff. Like I never touched an Atari.
Right. Yeah.
Or NES was my first system really. I got an Atari way late. I got an Atari when I was in college, and it was it was an Atari with this cable coming out of it that was black, and I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? It didn't have the TV connector box or something. I'm like, what do I do? I literally had no idea how to hook it up.
My mom had this, I don't know what it actually was. It was a computer that had black cartridges, and you'd stick it in, and we had the Smurfs, and it was a Smurfs platformer, I guess, and Frogger, and Pitfall, and some other games.
That's probably an old Atari computer. I would assume.
Maybe, but I had no idea what that was. So I was playing old games just because we had that thing. And then I found when we go into Arkansas, I found my own dad's old Atari and played some games that way. But just before the SNES, all that stuff, that wasn't me. Obviously. Growing up, also, my dad would take us to, Dave and Buster's and other arcades, things like that.
See, we only had Chuck E. Cheese. We also had something called Caesar Land, and it was the Little Caesars version of Chuck E. Cheese, and that was strange.
Well, I also did the thing a lot like you. Anytime I went into a Walmart or any of those, I would immediately go to the electronics section and just be there playing the demo thing.
I remember. So I remember the Kmart had the NES, an NES, a Game Boy, and a Super Nintendo all hooked up to TVs. You could play. Meyer only had I think a NES hooked up. That was kind of half baked, and like maybe like one little Game Boy kiosk. But the Target had a 6-game Genesis kiosk that was really cool. And it had like 6 games plugged into it, and you like press a button to switch between games.
Yeah.
This is neat. I want this. That's why I want a kiosk now.
I can't remember what game it was that I played. I think almost exclusively at a store because we went to the stores so much.
Yeah.
That like I think I almost beat it.
Yeah.
There, and then of course going to Funko Land. Like,
yeah,
my sister and my mom would go to the mall for something, and I'd just be at Funko Land for hours playing whatever thing there.
I was the same thing. I remember like we had like a big strip mall, and she just dropped me off at like Funko Land, and she'd go to like the Dollar Tree and the GNC, and I'd just be hanging out in there.
Stuff you can't do now, right? Because they're
I mean,
2-minute demos or just videos that you're watching, like those kiosks or not.
Well, that's like the whole thing about like imagine if they just opened up a new Funko Land and it was like that, that old store. Like that'd be, I'd shop there.
Well, that's what GameStop was trying to do at one point.
Yeah, their whole retro store, but they just don't have the games for it or the inventory.
Yeah.
Or like the know-how, really. Because they always want to like upsell you in that store and it's like, get away from me. This is creepy.
Yeah, it's. So I think the last, because we can probably do this in chunks over certain episodes. I think the last one I kind of wanted to get into before we ended it here was, I guess, whatever you consider your favorite genre now, or favorite couple of genres. What was that first game that game that was like, oh, okay, this is, made you realize, oh damn, I really like these kind of games now?
I mean, I would say my first game I can remember playing is Tetris, but that's not really a genre. Like, I mean, there are puzzle games, but there's Tetris, and that's about it.
Tetris is kind of its own thing.
Yeah, like it's a kind of genre unto itself, essentially. I would probably say like Metroidvania games. Like I can remember playing like Super Metroid at a kiosk at a store back in the day, and like not understanding it at all. But I grew up and I grew smarter, and it's like, wow, now I see the brilliance of this game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always, like the platformers and beat 'em up stayed with me throughout.
I would say platformers too, but they just don't make that many anymore. Or, they're just not.
I mean, they end up being like Metroidvanias with platforming.
Or
something else with platforming.
Well, it's like, I mean, I'm thinking like Mario. It's like there's not a traditional. I mean, Mario Maker's not really the same thing, but there's not like a traditional Mario game. That's like that.
You mean the 2D Marios?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I hope that patch, or not patch, but that pack of Mario games is truthful.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I think so. I think Nintendo would have put a kibosh on it by now, and they haven't. So.
Did you hear about they did put a kibosh on the Mario 64 PC port?
Wow, what did you expect?
Yeah, it's like, of course they're gonna, I gotta grab that thing at some.
When game sites are reporting it, they're gonna find out really quick.
Yeah.
So
Doug Bowser will spring into action.
But yeah,
I used to actually play like old sports games, but obviously that didn't stick with me.
Well, like I played NBA Jam that was the game that would make me get mad.
Yeah.
I had the games that would make me upset and throw my controller and all that stuff was those games, like losing in the last second, not making that last shot, like losing the game. I would do that thing where you're going to lose, so I'd reset the system.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose.
Well, like mine was, I don't really remember playing as the first Ken Griffey game on the SNES.
Oh, those were so good.
It was like, the first one is kind of not great. The second one is like, I know, really good. But I played the first one, so. And I remember playing like a few old RPGs at the time as well. Like, that's why like Mario RPG stuck with me so much.
Yeah, see, RPGs were. I started with Pokemon and went a little bit forward and then went backward all the
Yeah,
way
like
to.
the only two
Yeah.
RPGs I remember playing was Mario RPG and the Sega CD one called Vi, which was like a companion to the old Lunar games.
Yeah.
It was like the same type of game, but not quite. Uh, and that game was like insane because like the end, like one of the last parts of that game, you're in like the evil guy's dungeon, and you get to like this grid of like 6x7 transporters, and you have to like pick the right one, or else you pick one like the wrong one, and you have to fight like this big boss thing. And I'm a kid. I don't know which one is the correct one. I'm trying to pick all of. I'm going through them all. I'm getting my ass kicked. And I remember calling up the Sega helpline. And
Oh
I'm just
God,
going,
remember that thing?
yeah, I was just like, which one is the right one? Go like I wanted the person to say like, go right 4 rows and down 5 columns, down 5 spots, and that's the right one. And she was like, well, just make a make a listing for each one, and then you figure it out. And it's like, that's not helpful. Like, I'm like, I'm paying you for this shit, remember? Like,
Yeah.
Nintendo,
I think you had to like message Nintendo Power or something. They had their own line.
Nintendo had like, it had like a numbers on the back of the Game Boy. It was like, if you need game help, call 1-800. It was like a gray label.
Yeah.
I remember I had to call Sega up for one other game. It was Sonic 3, actually. Like, there's like a really weird, hard part in Sonic 3 where the game doesn't tell you what to do.
Oh my gosh, the days when you didn't have just easy computer access to find everything.
And when games were pure and good.
Well, Nintendo Power was great because it did have like strategy guides for their games.
Well, I remember reading. There's an old magazine called Tips and Tricks. That's what I used to read.
I had EGM for a long time.
Yeah, I had like
until they died the first time, I think, and then I switched over to GamePro for a while. Yep. Well, I think GameStop's first partnership was with GamePro.
Okay.
And then, of course, they eventually got Game Informer. But
Game Informer was still really early. I think Game Informer might have still been them because like I remember getting Game Informer with like the first Mortal Kombat logo on it from a GameStop or from a Funko Land. I'm like,
oh yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I never subscribe. I pick up some Game Informers here and there.
Yeah.
But I think, if I remember right, the first partnership that GameStop had when they were doing that first, like, before they had the, Power Up Rewards thing, they had something else.
Yeah.
And it was GamePro.
Yeah. It was probably, like, a lot less organized or, a lot more free form because it wasn't some big corporation that was evil.
Yeah, they weren't hounding you to pre-order as much.
I used to love Games or Funko Land's old printed like sales things. We're selling Madden 1996 for $8, and all those because they're hilarious to go back to and like now look at.
And I mean, it was also cool to go to Funko Land because you'd find out when all the games are coming out.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like, oh wow, this thing's coming. And they'd have stuff there early. Like super.
Right.
I mean, now you can't do that, right? Because stuff would leak. But it's amazing to see how our times have changed in that realm.
Yep.
Any other early memory or early?
No, that's about it. Like I mean, like my mom was just worried about not letting me hook up a Nest to a TV.
Yeah, my mom would just everything was a Nintendo, even if it wasn't a Nintendo or like shut off the Nintendo. I'm like okay, it's not a Nintendo, but sure.
Yeah, I remember having a Game Gear and that thing sucking hard.
Oh Lord, I never had one of those, but
I
had a friend that had one and it would die quickly.
Yeah, I had at least 2, and that battery life was like 2 hours of that.
I mean, it was cool because it was big, right?
Like, you could kill a kid with it if you hit him with it.
Yeah. But it was not made well for battery life.
Right. Well, it took 6, so
Yep.
that should tell you something. It's like, I mean, the Game Boy took 4, but the Game Boy lasted like 20 hours on
Yeah,
4
yeah,
batteries.
exactly. You put batteries in the Game Boy, and it felt like it lasted a while. So
I remember all the stupid Game Boy add-ons I would get as well. Holy
oh,
Christ!
I had the Super Scope thing too
For
for
the
the
SNES?
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have that?
No, I never had that. Why they didn't have a? I mean, I was never a huge fan of light gun games because I thought they were just kind of easy.
Oh, I
But I
didn't
do
care. My
remember
dad
that.
just bought it for me one day, and I think I used it. I think at least 3 or 4 times, and that was it. I was like, "This is
Well,
too
That thing
cumbersome."
also, that thing took batteries, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
that's
like the
right.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to like the Zapper with the NES, it's like what? This thing takes batteries. Like,
I mean, not to mention it was heavy to put on
yeah.
your shoulder and like just have it there.
Oh, I had the Sega. It wasn't Sega. It was like the Interactor.
Oh,
It was like this weird vest you wore that was like a big subwoofer speaker, and you would like plug it into your like Sega Genesis or whatever game console you had, and it was like supposed to like react like when you like a loud noise happened. You were supposed to like feel the action. I said, yeah, I have this giant speaker against my 8-year-old body. What do you expect?
freak you out.
Yeah. I mean, gaming like that was fun. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine, like, I mean, you have a daughter now. Like,
Right.
she's not, like, from what you said, she's not, like, hugely into games.
Right,
But-
she plays Roblox, and that's her thing, and she gets super excited about that. Like she's so into the digital times now. Like she has her friends on FaceTime, and they're all playing Roblox at the same time, and she's playing Roblox while they're all talking to each other. And it's like, I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
Could you imagine, I mean, do you have a SNES Classic or no?
no.
Could you imagine, like, sitting that in front of her and going, hey, play Mario? She'd be like, what? I mean, it's just like all those, like, kids see a NES for the first time videos on YouTube, stuff like that. And you feel like a crotchety old man.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I had her play. I think it was Sonic on the Switch when we were gonna watch the Sonic movie,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Daddy, how do you do this?" I'm
Yeah.
trying to teach her. It's like, well, you got to jump at the same time and run, and she was getting frustrated, and I was like, well, I mean, I remember my dad having to teach me how the star worked in Mario, that you could actually take out the enemies.
Right.
And not have to jump over them or whatever. it took a while for me to figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those. I kind of hate it because I tried to get her to play. I think it was I bought that Capcom beat 'em up bundle thing just to see if I could get her to play. with
No.
me. Yeah.
You're crazy.
And I think I tried to get her to play Final Fight. And
I wouldn't even want to play that.
And I think she made it through one level, and she's like, "I'm getting tired of dying, Daddy, so I'm done here." I was like, "No."
Yeah, I mean that's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, at least you have infinite lives in that thing, right?
Yeah, you can mess with it to have infinite lives. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that'd be a hard thing for someone to do, or
Yeah.
for a young girl to, unless she's like really violent or something. But
Yeah, like I tried to get her to learn Mario Kart. It took a long time for her to just make the car go straight.
yeah,
Without swerving everywhere or just or going the wrong way.
right.
She finally got it, but I think it's still just, I don't know. She's gonna have to find her thing, I guess. And I think Animal Crossing, it doesn't hold your hand enough. I think for her.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's her kind of game. Like she likes those games where you can create, all that. But I think she also sort of needs that social aspect which
Right.
that's what Roblox like provides her right now. Is all her friends play that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, soon they'll get to Fortnite.
Yeah, whereas us, we're more of those lonely type gamers, unless you have yens to play with. So.
Yeah, I don't know how much he loves to play SnowRunner.
Yeah. So.
I should rope you into that as well at some point. But
yeah, I think you're saying you made it to like chapter 14.
yeah, I guess I got to do that one fight, like some of the harder fights and like the side quests in Final Fantasy VII are. But
yeah,
we'll see how well that goes.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there.
I just really hate the map in that game. Like that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, I had to constantly go to the big map.
Yeah.
And figure out where the heck I was going.
I mean, I like. Oh, go on.
Oh, it just doesn't do a good job of trying to let you understand. Like, you can kind of get it if it's one of those story things that obviously that's the only place it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
But it like makes all the side quests kind of active at once.
Yeah.
So it
and then, like,
gets
you don't
difficult
have enough,
for that thing to tell you where to go.
You don't have enough like pathing. Like it doesn't tell you like which path to take to get to this one to an area. I mean, thankfully, Chapter 14 like unlocks like fast travel, but that is helpful. But it's like, I mean, I'd rather just have like an actual world map that take this path to go to here, this is where the quest objective is.
Yeah, like the map just felt like, okay, I can kind of get the gist that I'm supposed to go here, but how do I get there? And there was some times where I had to watch a video of somebody how they got to that point. It's like, oh, okay, I don't feel stupid. It just, man, it took me forever to figure it out,
Yeah. I also fought that stupid Tonberry. That was not fun.
Oh God, yeah, that I usually avoid the Tonberries. That's not what that and the Quacktar. I never really go after those, but that one didn't seem as hard as the other Tonberries.
Right.
I guess I kind of because I had haste by that. You get the time. I had the time materia.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
So I just cast haste on everybody, and
that is one thing I don't like is like how limited some of the materia is.
Yeah.
Like it's like I have like one. I don't know if you have multiple. If you get more at some point, but I have like one elemental materia.
You get a second one later.
I have to like keep reslotting it to like Cloud Sword or like Tifa's armor, and it's like this sucks. Like I want that guy, the nerd, to just sell me everything.
That one you never get sold.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I figured.
Yeah. Yeah, almost all the other ones you do, but they're also kind of expensive. So.
Oh yeah, like I'm pretty poor in the game, honestly. So it would be nice. I'm also not selling a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's no real reason to keep old weapons, but I still have them.
Yeah, there is, because you can keep leveling them up and then use them.
I mean, yeah, but I've kind of reached. I mean, I'll unlock it at some point, but I've reached a plateau at the moment. I was like, do I really need to keep the steel pincers? I was like, not really, but I guess I will.
I mean, yeah, you don't. I mean, like, I never. Once I learned the.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. You learn
the two melee ones for Barrett, I never used them again.
Yeah. But. Yep.
Well, yeah. I did get that Bright Memory game, but it just. It only has partial controller or gamepad support, so it's not going to work for me. I'm going to have to wait till the full game comes out, and I'm sure it might have full gamepad support by then because it won't get optimized for the consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a like decent game and everything, but yeah, just I'm not used to doing mouse and keyboard for anything, so it just doesn't work. It moves around too fast for me to have to remember. Oh, Shift A to strafe to the right, and Shift D to strafe to the left, and like it's too much. I'd rather just press the R trigger and left trigger, and we're good to go. Like,
yeah.
So, I did beat Streets of Rage 4. I was disappointed that there wasn't any kind of like I guess, special ending or anything like that. It just kind of felt like, all right, it ends, and then you unlock another character, and then here we go again. So.
Well, now I got to beat the game with that character to see the special ending.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I mean I said last time it feels really good, and it's wonderful homage to the other games. So yeah. But all right, I think that's it. We'll have another episode on Friday night. Well, we'll get to talk about all these, whatever was shown off at the Summer Game Fest, and then anything else that gets announced. I guess there'll be more events by then.
Yeah.
That will be, God, June's going to be something else.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, hopefully everybody's staying safe and staying home if you can, and wearing your mask, not protesting about the gym being open and then doing push-ups outside, showing people that you don't need the gym open, but cool. Yep. And then, of course, just you can go review us on whatever podcast platform that you like to listen to, and also you can hit those stars on whatever podcast you like to listen to. But most of all, hit subscribe, because anytime we do a show, we're going to do a Final Fantasy VII spoiler cast one of these
nights, once I get around to it.
and have Randy and Jens back on. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it looks like it'll be Mark and I for the foreseeable future, because Jens had to deal with real-life things.
He's a working man.
with work, and he now has to do a lot more work than he did previously due to COVID-19 situation with layoffs and furloughs. But hey, we're still here providing great stuff for you, and of course you can let us know what were your first consoles or gaming moments or anything that you remember, what got you into gaming. W10network@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at WTMSean, at HumanityPlague, at W10network, and let us know as well. Check out that W10net.com, and we'll see y'all later.
Later.